What's going on, guys? Welcome to my episode 6 review of the Derek Jeter documentary, The Captain. Episode 6, it's much more happier compared to episode 5, where it really pissed me off. It aggravated me to the no end, and it was negative throughout the episode. Episode 5 was. Episode 6, however, it was much more happier, more pleasant, despite there were a few negatives that came along with it, but delightful throughout the duration of this episode, and great prologue to start off the episode by showing the transition from the old Yankee Stadium to the new Yankee Stadium, the community's reaction. The interviewers were terrific, including Michael Kay. Like, the documentation on the prologue portion was excellent and well put together. I really loved it. Then it was 2009 Yankee season, probably one of the more valuable seasons in Yankees history, because after coming off of a missing the playoffs during the team's final year at the old Yankee Stadium, then the previous years they were bounced out in the first round of the playoffs, and it was big time important because they opened up a new stadium, charging a lot of ticket prices and paying a lot of money. And the Yankees had a clubhouse friction where Cashman detailed that there was no chemistry and like the clubhouse were dead. And that's where they went big game hunting, signing all those free agency, including CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, Mark Teixeira, trading for Nick Swisher. But out of all, CC Sabathia was a big fish to get because not only just a great pitcher, but Cashman said to like, hey, try to fix this clubhouse. Try to fix this clubhouse. He was the kind of guy where he put together a new jolt of energy and relaxation to this team. And even Derek Jeter had a conversation with CC that, hey, she's like, hey, just be yourself. CC was an intimate part of the culture change in that clubhouse. Then before it gets going, which 2009 highlights in this episode, just really salivating through. It was my favorite in terms of like memorable season of all of my life as a Yankee fan. But before that, it was Alex Rodriguez during spring training admitting using PEDs. Derek Jeter was like, another distraction. I didn't like to be there when the time A-Rod's doing the apologies press conference. Jeter was like, you don't have to listen to this nonsense. I only want to deal with something to do with the playing field on the baseball diamond. That's about it. Then the season rolls around. They have all these, how many walk-off wins they had. Such a great season 2009 season was for the Yankees. And even Derek Jeter allowed the other teammates to be themselves more, and they had all types of leadership in 2009. Winning approach that brings the chemistry that put together among the teammates. And even Joe Girardi, the manager of the Yankees at that time, credit Derek Jeter's leadership, that other players fed off of that energy in his leadership. So that's a big credit. Then 2009 playoffs come around, and without Alex Rodriguez, the Yankees would not have gone and won the World Series. And prior to that, Alex Rodriguez had a big-time failure during the postseason. And Jeter said it. A-Rod was a force in 2009 playoff run. Even A-Rod said it. We needed each other for him to win his 5th ring, for me to win the first one. And really, 2009 season was such a great season. And funny part was like, Jimmy Rollins, the Phillies shortstop, appeared. It's like, we got to take them out in 6 games, or we got to close them out in 5 games at our home turf. It's like, then Derek Jeter was like, not so sure about that. I won't have to say that, but I know you were confident, group, but I understand. Then, in terms of like, turn around the series change, like when they played the Empire State of Mind, Alicia Keys' Jay-Z song, Jim Ross like, oh, I hated that song. But at the end, this Yankees won that series, 2009 World Series, in 6 games, and Derek Jeter was like, more relief. But also, he thought about the years we should have won 2001, 2003, 2004. But Jeter had a better appreciation of his career. That's what he said. Then moves on to the passing of the boss, George Steinbrenner. Derek Jeter detail and describe George and what he has meant to him and to the team. Really, George, who cared about winning so much, even he had some bad moments, but he always cared about winning. Then moves on to this nonsensical, ugly contract negotiation between Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees front office. Like Jeter said to his agent Casey Close, like, "Hey, I didn't want to be anywhere else other than playing for the New York Yankees. If anybody calls me to like, hey, from San Francisco Giants, let's play for the San Francisco Giants." No. He had no interest in it. Hang up the phone. Only interested in playing with the Yankees. Then he specifically, Derek Jeter, told the Yankees keep the negotiation private. Well, the Yankees broke that promise and leaked the whole public ugly scene turned between the contract negotiation, and it was a bad blooded between Derek and the front office, and especially I didn't like Brian Cashman at all in this episode. He looked like a bad guy and really disrespect Derek Jeter, that really staying so much to Derek Jeter, who has done so much for the Yankees organization. They even Derek talked to Cashman. Then tell me, who would you rather have? The Cashman listed some of the shortstop who rather have Troy Tulowitzki, Hanley Ramirez, and at that stage of the moment, Derek Jeter was not on the top echelon of shortstop in baseball, and Jeter was very, very frustrated. Even Casey Close, the agent, credit Jeter for express that frustration during the press conference after he signed a $17 million per year for 3 years. And Jeter hated it. Then he didn't want to talk to Cashman, even never say bad about them, but I didn't want to see him. Basically, he hates Cashman. He doesn't like Cashman at all. The negotiation was so ugly and awful look for the Yankees. Then move on to the 3,000 hit that Derek Jeter had. That was a storybook scene, and you cannot make a script out of a movie book and thinking Derek Jeter's his 3,000 is gonna be a home run. It's amazing how he has done in his career, his great moments and everything. Then Derek Jeter felt pressure trying to get that 3,000 hit because team was going on a road trip before that, and it was imperative for him to get it done at home, and he wanted to share the moments with the Yankee fans at the stadium. But he also said he was uncomfortable of himself being the story because Derek Jeter, he's always about team winning. And he's not about individual goal. Always team comes first. And that's what I love about Derek Jeter's mindset. But 3,000 hit, that's a great moment for Derek in his career. Then Hannah Davis Jeter, Derek's wife, she was terrific in this episode. I thought she was very intimate, very thoughtful, and really shared a great perspective and very similar personality to Derek Jeter as well. And it was so funny that you couldn't believe that Hannah didn't know Derek or his name at the time when they met. And didn't notice they had a parade in '09. It was like, I was right there. It was like, oh. I thought that was very, very kind of touching and everything. But Hannah said the hardest time when they had a relationship with Derek was that when he was during his active career, because when they met, it was the right time for both of them. But Derek, when he was active, he was emotionally not available to anyone. But great to see both of them appear and share their perspective. 2012 comes where Derek Jeter led the league in hits, and it was a renaissance season for Derek Jeter. But that season, in mid-September of 2012 season, Derek Jeter tweaked the ankle a little bit again in Fenway Park. Then he thought about maybe 1 or 2 days off or something, it would have healed, but I had to play through it. I don't want to make any excuses, on and on and on. Even I hate Cashman in this episode or throughout the documentary. He praised Derek Jeter for being the toughest player I ever seen. He played through anything, and Jeter didn't think about it. And Derek Jeter is that type of guy. He always trying to like prove and fight through. But what if he took those couple days off or maybe week off? Maybe that ankle injury that he suffered during the 2012 ALCS Game 1 against the Detroit Tigers. They showed that highlights that was so ugly, and that was like sucked the air out of the whole stadium, because I was watching that game at that time live, and that was about a sombering and very just heartfelt and sad to see Derek Jeter just walked off and like with a broken ankle. And that series, the Yankees were dead. And even during the rehab, where Hannah said it was a disaster, she said it because Derek was so miserable. He really was lost. He at home, he hated riding the scooter during his rehab. One time he fell down from it. Really, Derek Jeter had a tough time rehabbing, and at that point where it felt like a job. It felt like a job, and once he felt like a job, it was time to hang him up. And the funny, bizarre sequence in this episode, I thought it was like when Susan Waldman appeared, the radio legend of WFAN. Derek Jeter told Susan that when I retire, I'll call you first. Well, Derek called her, but went to the voicemail because Susan Waldman was out and about playing with her dogs. Then came up, was like, oh, okay. It was like, it was so bizarre. That whole sequence, I thought was funny. Then Hal Steinbrenner didn't notice it was Derek Jeter because like, oh, I got something to do. Didn't know it was his number. It was so bizarre because later on, then Derek Jeter announced it on Facebook. So that whole sequence I thought was very, very kind of bizarre sequence to tell. Then they detailed how the aging superstar was phased out, like for Derek Jeter, where it took so much in rehab that Derek Jeter was like very, very having a heavy weight on his shoulder. And it was a difficult year in 2014 because he was not the same guy where he won all those championships. He was the king of New York. He was the franchise player who led the way, all those Yankees glory. But 2014, that was a tough time. They could have like batted Jeter down in the order, which would have helped the Yankees, but they didn't. Joe Girardi thought about moving down the order. Then Buster Olney of ESPN said Derek should have went to Girardi's office to move me down. Then Derek responds like, what kind of is that? If they want me to sit down or move me down, hey, be the 10th player, not gonna complain, end quote. But you don't go volunteer saying that just the wrong mindset, because champions don't have that kind of mindset. When things get hard, that's when you try to prove people wrong. And I love that mindset of Derek Jeter. Very consistent. He doesn't back down. And he always try to prove people wrong, even with his diminished skills and age and decline as a shortstop. But his mindset and mentality always as strong. So I loved it. So overall, this one is much more happier, lighter episode, despite they show the awful contract negotiation between Derek Jeter and the Yankees. I thought the Yankees are on an awful side. They look awful. Then, of course, hate to see Derek Jeter's ankle broken in that playoff game. It was so sad to see. But all in all, this was much more happier than previous episodes. So there you have it. That's my episode 6 review of the Derek Jeter documentary, The Captain. What do you think about it? Leave your thoughts. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.